Are you an agent? At first glance, the answer seems obvious. Of course you are. You decide, you act, you choose. You plan your day, you take responsibility, you shape outcomes. Much of our psychological and moral life rests on this assumption. But philosophy asks us to pause exactly where things appear obvious. So let us ask again, more carefully. What does it mean to say, I act? In everyday psychology, agency is understood as intention followed by action. I desire something. I deliberate. I act. The chain feels continuous and personal. But when we look closely, that continuity is less stable than it appears. Thoughts arise without invitation. Emotions surge before we approve of them. Decisions often crystallize before we can explain how they formed. So where exactly is the agent located? Indian philosophical traditions have asked this question with extraordinary precision. The Nyaya philosophers argue that the self is a real agent. There is a doer who desires, who makes effort, who initiates action, and who bears responsibility. Agency here is not an illusion. It is central to ethics, reasoning, and social life. This view resonates deeply with our everyday sense of accountability. Without a real agent, how could praise or blame make sense? But other traditions push the inquiry further. Advaita Vedanta asks us to examine the structure of experience itself. Everything you can observe, your body, sensations, thoughts, emotions, even your sense of I am doing, is something that appears to awareness. This leads to a powerful discrimination, the seer and the seen. If you can observe your thoughts, are you those thoughts? If you can witness your sense of agency, are you the agent? Advaita does not deny action. It questions ownership. At the deepest level, consciousness is not a doer. It is the illuminator in whose presence doing happens. Agency belongs to the body-mind complex. Consciousness remains untouched. Aga Arjuna takes the analysis in another direction. He asks whether an agent can exist independently of actions, causes, and conditions. Can there be a doer without doing? An actor without a context? A self that stands on its own? His answer is subtle. Agency exists, but not inherently. It arises dependently, moment by moment. This prevents us from solidifying the I into a fixed entity while preserving moral and practical functioning. You act, but there is no permanent agent behind the act. Kashmir Shaivism, especially Abhinavagupta, reframes the entire question. Here, agency is not denied or dissolved. It is relocated. Consciousness itself is active, expressive, self-revealing. Agency is not a mistake, but a manifestation of consciousness's freedom. The sense I act is neither false nor ultimate. It is a play of consciousness recognizing itself through activity. So where does this leave us? Psychologically, we must function as agents. Ethically, we must take responsibility. Socially, agency is indispensable. But philosophically, we are invited to see agency as layered. At one level, you decide, choose, and act. At a deeper level, actions arise within a vast field of conditions. At the deepest level, consciousness simply illuminates. This insight is not disempowering. It is liberating. You are not trapped inside every thought. You are not exhausted by every action. You are not reducible to success or failure. You act, yes, but you are more than the agent. And perhaps real freedom begins not when we assert agency aggressively, but when we understand its limits with clarity. So the next time you say, I did this, pause gently and ask, who is the doer here? And who is the one who knows that doing has occurred? That pause itself is the beginning of presenting an insight for you. Will you try this self-reflective exercise?